You know what are salts, right? Now if I tell you to name a salt quickly, you will say sodium chloride, common salt. Now this is used to add taste to our food. Now do you know that these salts have some properties as well? So let us see what properties do these salts have. Now first of all, salts are solids with high melting and boiling points. For example, the melting and boiling points of common salt are 801 degrees Celsius. So this is the melting point of salt, and 1413 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of common salt. So you can see how high it is. Next, salts may or may not be neutral to pH indicators depending upon their type. Next, they are mostly soluble in water. Just like common salt, you can see when you mix common salt in a glass of water, it is soluble. Next, in a molten state or in a solution form, they are good conductors of electricity. Well, let's see an experiment which proves this. Yeah. Hmm. We can add this beach mein. We'll do a slide and then beach mein we'll add. Okay. Next, let's see the reaction between two soluble salts. So this is also a property of salt, that when you react one salt with the other, you get a third salt as well as a fourth salt, but one of them will be insoluble. Let's see an experiment which proves this. So what we will do is, we will conduct this experiment with sodium chloride and silver nitrate. Look what happens when we add silver nitrate to sodium chloride. A white precipitate is formed. Now this white precipitate is silver chloride and this is insoluble, whereas the liquid part that you can see here, this is the soluble salt, which is sodium nitrate. So this is the reaction that takes place. Look, sodium chloride when reacts with silver nitrate gives us silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. Now the white precipitate that was formed in the experiment you saw, that is the insoluble salt that was formed, and the soluble salt that was formed was sodium nitrate. Similarly, there is one more property, that when you react a salt with an alkali, it will give you an insoluble base and a soluble salt. Now again, let's conduct an experiment to prove this. First of all, let me tell you what reaction will take place in the experiment. Well, copper sulfate when reacted with sodium hydroxide will give you copper hydroxide plus sodium sulfate. So what you can see is, when a salt will react with an alkali, it will give you an insoluble base and a soluble salt. So let's see the experiment. This is copper sulfate. Now we will add drops of sodium hydroxide in it. Look what's happening. You are getting an insoluble base, that is copper hydroxide, and this is a soluble salt, that is sodium sulfate. So these are the properties of salts.